The average person spends over 30 hours a week on the internet. Every second you are online, your behavior is being tracked and stored into a file that can be sold to companies trying to sell products to you. Even when you're not online, your phone is listening. In this age of technology, privacy seems to be something of the past. There is an illusion that the internet is free, but the fact is your personal information is worth a lot, and you end up paying dearly for it in the end. To most people, the lack of privacy doesn't seem like a big deal. Constant surveillance goes hand in hand with the internet. Only 3% of people who use Google have actually read the terms and conditions that they agreed to. There is a sentiment today that only bad people want privacy. Only those with things to hide care about privacy. But the fact of the matter is, we all do things when we think we're alone that we would never do out in public. There are things we say to those that we trust in confidence that would mortify us if they got out. When we're in a state where we are being monitored, our behavior changes. There are plenty of social science experiments to back this up. One of the most famous experiments was developed by an English philosopher named Jeremy Bentham in 1791. At the time, prisons in England were overcrowded, and there weren't enough guards to keep order. So Bentham designed a new type of prison structure, called the panopticon, which allowed all inmates to be observed at all times by a single guard. In the panopticon prison, every inmate was separated into a cell that faced inward towards one guard tower. The guard in the tower sat in the dark and stared out through a tiny window, which was covered with shutters. So the guard could see out and no one could see in. Since the inmates could not see the guard in the tower, it created the illusion that they were being watched at all times. This design had such a profound impact on the inmates' behavior that all riots and resistance ceased. Just knowing that they were visible was enough to keep the inmates in line. In fact, in order for this to work, they didn't even need a guard in the tower. All that was needed was the fear of potentially being watched at all times. Constant surveillance creates a prison in the mind. The panopticon proved to be the ultimate enforcer of obedience and compliance, and the same principle has been carried over to schools, hospitals, airports, the workplace, and now practically every public corner of society. This is the exact reason you don't run a red light at 3 a.m. when there are no other cars around. There's always the chance of a traffic camera watching, so you obediently sit and wait for the light to turn green. Constant surveillance has become the key means for control in Western society. There's no need for public displays of brutality anymore. It's no secret that we're being monitored while we're online. The founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, said himself that privacy is no longer a social norm. Ironically, Mark Zuckerberg spent $30 million buying all the houses surrounding his house so he could have more privacy. The founders of major social media sites preach that privacy isn't a big deal, yet their actions contradict their words, for they go to great lengths to protect their own privacy. So why is privacy important? People need a place where they can go and be themselves without fear of judgment. We are by nature a social species, but just as important is our need to be in solitude, to have the ability to act in a way that does not conform to societal standards, to think freely, explore ideas, be creative, or even be deceitful. Otherwise, everyone would be exactly the same. When we allow a society to exist in which we are subject to constant monitoring, we allow the essence of human freedom to be severely crippled. To those in authoritative power, anyone who poses a meaningful challenge to authority must be stopped. So essentially, if you completely render yourself harmless and conforming in every way possible as someone who poses no threat whatsoever, then you have nothing to worry about. Here's a powerful quote from the 19th century philosopher Rosa Luxemburg. "Those who do not move do not notice their chains." Maybe not today, But someday you will want to explore an idea that does not conform to the ever-narrowing standards of society. And when that time comes, wouldn't you like the freedom to act without being judged or surveillanced? Privacy is a basic human right. Thankfully, there is something that you can do to protect your privacy. NordVPN is a virtual private network that allows you to remain completely anonymous online. It protects your info, your location, and prevents anyone from spying on you. Without a VPN, you are highly vulnerable to hackers, advertisers, the government, and Mark Zuckerberg. NordVPN encrypts everything, so if anyone intercepts your data, it just looks like a jumble of random numbers and letters. Nord also allows you to change your geographic digital location, so you can connect to servers all over the world. So you can be sitting on your couch in Mexico and enjoy Netflix shows in New Zealand. Start protecting your internet experience today with 77% off a 3-year plan by using code AFTERSCHOOL at nordvpn.com/afterschool. If you value your freedom of privacy, then a VPN is a no-brainer. If you like the After School animations, please support us on Patreon. Every little bit helps, and your donation will help keep this channel running. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to subscribe.